Unlike anything else on radio today, it's a front row seat for great information with today's leading experts. The Millionaire Maker, Hillary Kramer.
Anyway, you're reporting live for us tonight from Orlando.
The Money Show.
What's going on
in Orlando? Well, it's very interesting. I have attended money shows since 2007, and usually about 4 a year on average. So I've seen a lot of money shows, easily over 50 to 60 money shows, like where I am actually here. And I'm going to be quite honest. The people who are here, who I've known all these years, because they come back year after year and they love to hear me speak because I give stocks. I don't tease anybody. I tell everybody, listen to, I'm going to give you 10 great stocks and follow them. And if you're not a subscriber and you do well 2 years from now, please subscribe to my newsletters. But I don't want you to subscribe now. And I really don't. I want people to really feel really excited and that they know what they're buying. And so right. I give my stocks. And when you're a great stock picker and you have a great team like I do, there's always another stock. So it's not like I'm giving away the last stock in the universe. There's always a good stock if you're good at what you do. So, but I will say, and, I hope that, I don't offend anybody at the Money Show because I do love them here, but the Orlando Money Show has had between 13,000 and 16,000 attendees just about every year that they're here at Champions Gate, the Omni Hotel. And this year, we're not anywhere near that. So I just, and yet it's a phenomenal organization. It's full of information. It's full of great, stock, equity, people, bonds, those that you like ETFs, if you like alternatives, if you want gold. We have an exhibit floor here. And I just think that it is a proxy for what's going on out there, which is that the buyers have been blown out of the water. I mean, let's be realistic. The NASDAQ is still down 25% on the year. It still is down. Okay, so year to date. So what that means is that assumes that you stayed in, like that's from January 1 to now. But as the market fell in May and June, there were so many investors that used it as an opportunity to jump into the stocks that they hadn't had a chance to get into that were too expensive. And nobody expected the NVIDIAs, the PayPals, some of the horse, the great, statesmen, horsemen of NASDAQ, like the Oracles and Intels, to do poorly, and they just went down. So I think there was a lot of people that tried to catch a falling knife that wouldn't ordinarily have done that. And then also on oil, how many people jumped in? Everyone is following, where's the action? Where's the money? So the money was being made, right? We talked Chevron last year. We talked oil. You're not hearing me talk about it now because, it hit a tipping point. And so, yes, there was a time to buy oil services and oil companies, and many people said, this is where I'm going to have to hide. And then those went down. So never think that just because the market's down a certain amount or up a certain amount that you've caught it. You are, really phenomenal, or you're also trading in and around stocks, when you have a year like this.
As Hillary was pointing out, the NASDAQ down for the year, but it was down some again today. Although I will say, even though we had a red day, Hillary, it wasn't a major crash. In fact, if you look, and I asked your top man, Steve Madonna, earlier today, I said, what do you make of this? Because I'm looking at my portfolio. Everything of mine is in green, but the three indices all the major indices are down. And he said, well, it's one of those where you've got the kind of the big anchor stores, Apple and some of the tech and the NASDAQ drivers, they're off. That messes with the whole market. But then you've got 1,600 up with 1,400 down. You really have more of an up market than a down market. It's just one of those that's just kind of barely on the line. So it's not really a down day. It's just a little bit off. But one of the things that we've talked about is the tech sector and how it's changing. And I don't think, Hillary Kramer, that anybody thought that this time a year ago that one Elon Musk, who is already in the tech sector with Tesla, was going to be heading up Twitter. And I will tell you that for some of us who had lost our account, had been purged in the Great Purge, had been denied our free speech rights, some of us have been hoping that in fact would happen. He did take control on Friday. He's fired all of the top people. He's got his Tesla geniuses working on the Twitter code and trying to understand the system and so forth. But what is your assessment of what this means, not just to Twitter itself as maybe a potential stock, but to the sector? Does it impact the tech sector in any way?
It does, in the sense that the fact that Elon Musk eventually paid this incredibly high premium for Twitter tells you, and I think he's brilliant. So he knew what he was doing, and it tells people that tech is going to be back. There's part of tech is here to stay. So I love that he stepped in at a time when the market was down so much. Now, at the same time, realistically, what happened was that Twitter really had him. They had him tied in. I think when he went to buy Twitter, he really thought he was going to be buying it. He didn't expect the drop in the stock price. He didn't expect to find out how many bots there were and how much of Twitter was really a mess and run and how much waste there was there. And so I think that when he tried to back out, because the lawsuit, the actual courtroom drama was ready to start this week.
Yeah.
Okay. And he would have been forced. He would have been forced to buy Twitter, and I don't think he had the time. And so he just said, "Okay, I'm going to do this." That being said, Twitter is going to be very, very interesting because Elon Musk is playing in a very different field now. He's playing in I'm really excited that he's really has come out and said free speech is what I'm here to protect. And there's going to be a lot more. Those that have been thrown off Twitter are going to be back on Twitter. What he doesn't know is the albatross of once you get involved with social media, how difficult it can be and how hairy it is. Yes, he took on the car companies. Yes, he took on NASA, right? He was one of the founders of PayPal. In 1993. However, I hope that he comes out of this unscathed, because there's going to be a lot of attacking, that's going to take place. And he's already, there's already been a call for advertisers and to boycott. And once you start boycotting a media company, boycott meaning advertisers go away, then you have a real problem. It's significant. Now, he is going to charge, for those who haven't been following every detail of it, he will be charging, a fee for verified users. So it's not free. And then there's another fee that's going to be monthly. And so he does have a subscription-based model, and that makes a lot of sense, so that he can do what he needs to do and not have, choppy advertising coming in. He has a revenue model that's sustainable. But my concern, though, is that Twitter is this may get him. This may get him. What do you think? What do you think, Kevin?
Well, I pretend not to have any expertise even approaching Elon's in terms of his strategy. I think part of his genius is that he's always thought about 3 or 4 steps outside the box of anybody else's box. I don't think you can ever fully understand ahead of time what his ultimate strategy is, but and I think he's had good and bad outcomes with that too, by the way. I don't think that they've all necessarily been genius moves, but I think that they add up to more wins than losses. And I think, generally speaking, he's a good guy that has some really good desires, and wanting to protect free speech, I think, is admirable in today's world where cancel culture has taken over everything.